Welcome to the Driven to Succeed Real Estate Podcast. And today, my guests are Terry Torito, Brett LaCoy. Hey, guys.
What's up, man?
So a lot of people had some news yesterday about one of the big players in the mortgage industry.
Big text come through yesterday, and I forwarded off to both you guys last night. I was like, look at this.
Fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't just you two, because I had a number of real estate agents saying, hey, what's going on? Because, the consensus in the market, if you watch the news, is what?
Well,
the world is coming to an end.
Sky's falling, right?
Sky's falling. Interest rates are high.
Right.
Home sales are low.
Right. And then real quick, we're talking about Wells Fargo, right?
Yes, we are. I was going to get to that. I was going to get to that.
I just wanted to make sure.
I just wanted to get, main thing is understanding where we are really at, and understanding what the market's doing. Wells Fargo had a plan. Their business model was to get to 50% market share. That's what they wanted to do, right?
That's ambitious.
That's very ambitious,
That's
right?
Very
but that
ambitious.
was their literal goal. So on top of it, Terry, you found this yesterday. I'm going to read the headline.
Some
in the first
some of you
paragraph.
bank at Wells Fargo out there. Some of you have your home loan with Wells Fargo out there.
Yeah.
All right, so here it is, directly off the CFPB's website. You can all look this up on the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau website. CFPB orders Wells Fargo to pay $3.7 billion for widespread mismanagement of auto loans, mortgages, and deposit accounts. Company repeatedly misapplied loan payments, wrongfully foreclosed on homes, and illegally repossessed vehicles, incorrectly assessed fees and interest, charged surprise overdraft fees, along with other illegal activity affecting over 16 million consumer accounts. So that's the real reason why they are dipping out of the correspondent lending side, right? So
a little bit of trouble.
They have some trouble. They already have had, so it's a down market, right? So many companies downsized, layoffs, did all of this stuff, and they're reorganizing to get liquidity back and so forth. So that announcement came last night, and then you look at what happened. So they had to do something. They had to get out of it. I mean, let's face it, in our market specifically, how many times, if you talk to a real estate agent, they would literally say, hey, we got a Wells Fargo application or pre-approval letter.
Right.
Can you talk to these people? And, because they just struggled getting sellers to see, they see that name, Wells Fargo, on there.
Right.
And it was the perception. So not only did they have a bad perception of not being able to close on time and do other things, now you have things like this come up. So they just knew right off the bat they're not going to be able to. So
it went into saying, you guys, unlawfully repossessed vehicles.
The foreclosures.
And, and bungled borrowers' accounts, improperly denied mortgage modifications, illegally charged surprise overdraft fees. So if people don't watch their accounts,
right,
or they get their account frozen, like they, you would
froze their accounts.
They seen some kind of payment or deposit from somewhere else. They would just freeze the money up, and then they couldn't use it.
Right.
And guess what? Now they miss their housing payment because they can't access the money, right? So they did so much so bad incorrectly, and and what does that say? After years of working in the financial industry that I have from the auto side to now the mortgage side, and seeing how they've always worked, and their business model was, and a lot of people get in the business this way, is come on in, work an entry-level job, and we move you up the ladder. So if you work well, you can get moved up, and that's what many people do, right?
Many companies do.
But I think sometimes you move people because it's all about pay scale, right?
Right.
So if you're not paying very high in the first place for these lower jobs, you have people moving around or moving out of the industry faster than you can elevate. So you start elevating some people faster, and then that's where mistakes start getting made when you're really handing your financing. And on top of it, Wells had some really deep programs. remember a few years ago when they talked about all the like people were just like, I didn't know I had that account,
No.
and they were setting up accounts for people.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Remember, because they would be like, hey, if you can get so many accounts signed up,
Yep.
you would get a bonus.
perk,
Right, a
Sure.
perk, right? Perk, bonus, whatever. So people were setting up accounts like way to save savings, account number 2,
Sure.
and just literally setting up accounts
We were
for
getting
people.
applications. I'm like, why do you have 5 savings accounts? I didn't know I had 5 savings accounts.
100%. Anyway, so to deep dive into that and understand that's where it happened, and not that it's the mortgage industry is just wiping people out. I mean, obviously they have way big overhead because they're a huge
I mean, they're
company.
1,000
Huge.
employees.
Right.
They're laying
Oh,
off.
they're
I mean,
yeah,
that's-
they're huge, but it's not. They got caught doing something bad.
Right. And
That's
Again.
more again.
again.
That's kind of the takeaway from this. It's not that now the sky is really falling. No,
Right.
It's they were doing bad stuff and they got caught.
Right. So what that means for all the other players is it really helps. It really helps people
Yeah,
like us because we don't have the
absolutely.
competition, right? It's less competition that's out there. So that helps us as on our industry.
kind of
from
what
that
we tell our
standpoint.
clients: the cheapest isn't always the best.
No.
Right. No.
That's right.
So I mean, the main point of this is to when we're talking to our real estate partners or anybody that's listening out there is just to understand that that's where it really came from. Because I was watching the news this morning and waiting to see and there isn't anybody talking from mainstream media about this
No.
from
Oh.
CFPB. They're just talking about how the mortgage industry and how the real estate industry is down and like how it's affecting so many other things. So
It's funny how it's like I said, even in my feed this morning, like that would be a pretty big topic to talk about. It's all getting brushed.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Well, let's not talk about that. Look
Well,
over
it's
here.
it's easier to just go back on the narrative that we've had recently about how how bad the industry is and how about and so forth. So that's I don't know about you. Well, I'm fairly certain both you guys are fielding calls like, well, is this a good time to buy a home? Right.
Right. Well, it's always a good time to buy a home.
Right.
I mean, right now nobody's shopping, and
Right.
rates are actually going down.
Right. So we've had that fluctuation where we've seen the really big spike, and last year just rose all year, and we had a big spike right before. I think going into September, October, November, then all of a sudden they came back down, and they've been they fluctuate a bit. If you look at the 10-year Treasury, I think today somewhere around 3.5, and that's where it's really what's going to dictate, where rates are, and I've been talking to a lot of my clients, lately. It's we do not hold a crystal ball.
No.
We don't know what rates are going to do come the end of this year. But if you listen to like the Barry Habibs of the world and some other people, I mean, we do see in the future, whether it's 6 months from now, whether it's 18 months from now, it's somewhere in the next couple of years where we're going to see it where it actually levels off. Obviously, we've talked about it in previous podcasts about the inflation,
Yep.
and so forth. So they keep raising the rates to stave that off.
Well, even if they keep raising rates, and the housing might come down on this side. This side's still going to go up, but housing
Right.
rates are going to come
Well,
down.
and Brandon, you were explaining it to me a little bit, like just what's going on right now in like the stock market. Where is everybody putting their money? And how that has an influence on what's going on with the rates.
Correct.
Right.
So the last few years, it was 2-to-1 people and institutions putting money where?
They were putting it in stocks.
No. Where?
No?
What part of technically what kind of stocks? Like who just got nailed?
Bitcoin.
Crypto.
Crypto.
So it was funny, and I read an article about this not too long ago, because last year when the crypto world fell apart, right? When we were up to what, $67,000, $70,000 on Bitcoin.
It was
for a minute.
70,000. Yeah, it was high.
It was 72 or something like that, and they were like, "It's going to 100, and guess where it went? 20. Right? Now below. But that's where hedge funds were putting their money in it. Everybody was for every $3, two of it was going to crypto. Well, then that came back, and now you're looking at where a lot of companies last year just went into liquid. That's why
Right.
you had the couple dips, the major dips to the market where we all got down to what 28,000 and some change, 29,000, where we're at today, right around 33,000. And there's people that still predict that we're gonna go to 26. So that's where I look at it as we're likely to see some more dips this year. It's going to be rocky.
Sure.
2024 is, but let's face it, I think there is some validity in it being more of a softer landing because, as much as I hate to say it, the mainstream media, by doing what they always do, is make a molehill into a mountain, right?
Right.
A lot of companies have moved into safer territory, moving money
Safer
out.
practices.
Not crypto.
Not crypto.
Not
No.
crypto.
No, but as far as like getting their finances in order ready for this 2023. So there isn't this ginormous crash and like fall
Right.
the world is.
So where are they putting that money then?
Well, they're sitting in cash.
They're sitting in
A lot
cash.
of companies.
They're sitting in
Or
cash.
they're putting it in the
IRAs,
safer.
yeah.
They put it in the safe. The typical person puts in the IRA. Companies
Yeah.
are going to be putting into they're sitting in cash. They have a big cash reserve, and they're putting more money into safe, such as bonds. That's why the 2-year Treasury went up so much. Why they're putting more into safe places to keep their money with liquidity that they can get out with a safe environment. And so let's face it, many people are still waiting for that big crash so that they can
Right.
jump back in. And I feel the same way. So I don't know where it's really going to go. I think we
You don't
still
know when
have
to jump either.
we still have
No.
we still have to see what the first quarter of 2023 is going to look like. So we're not going to know that for 3 more months, 3.5
Right.
more months, right? For April is where we're going to see Q1 results. We're still waiting for Q4 results of 2022. But with that being said, I mean to circle back to what we started with is just because Wells Fargo did what they did doesn't mean the whole mortgage industry is going to be dropping like that.
No.
I mean, now I think there are going to be some lower, some of the smaller mortgage companies that literally can't keep the doors open because there's just
Right.
not enough market share for everybody to go around right now.
Right.
So, the ones specifically the ones that popped up in the last few years, and then bankrolled during the refi boom, and then didn't focus on doing purchase business, right? And didn't have the loan officers that were focused on actual purchase and real estate.
Right.
So they were just like, oh, I can refinance everybody, make a grip of money. They did, and now
Now they're out.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're all done. So I think that the main part of this is just to understand that
There's still good people in the mortgage industry, and you can trust them.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Specifically us.
Yes.
Anyway,
This guy.
right. Do you guys have anything to add to that? I touched a little bit on, some of the things that we can do right now, like 2-1 buy downs. That's, I've had a number of people that I've talked to about it and done, and where we got a rate of 7% or 6.75.
Sure.
And that first year we do a 2-year buy down or 2-point buy down. So that first year they're getting 4.75%. Well, so let's look at a $350,000 mortgage that can make a couple $100 about the difference on your payment.
Sure.
Right. And
yeah.
then the next year is only 1 point, right? And it's got to be paid by the sellers. And guess what? We're certainly getting that right now.
Getting them.
We're getting a lot of seller credits. And then along with the 2-1 buy down, buying out your PMI policy
Yeah,
up front. That can save you some money on your monthly payment as well, and then you never have to worry about it again.
Right.
Right. Get a seller credit for that. Bada bing, bada boom. Your monthly payment can go down a couple $100.
Right. So there's a lot of different ways. I mean, there's the split policies. Arch has a great program for that. So you pay a portion of it up front, and then you have a portion of it monthly. So you cut down on your payments there. With going back to the 2-1 buy down, the point of that, and what again going back to, we don't hold a crystal ball, but there's a very good likelihood that rates are going to peak throughout this year, and then they're going to come back down, and it could be some predictions are early this year, and most of them are later June, July, towards after later in Q2, Q3, Q4, but. I think the real consensus is 2024 is going to really stabilize and be back in that 5s.
And I would just kind of like to point this out there too, though. These are just projections. We don't
100%.
have a crystal ball. If you are somebody that does want to buy something, and you were waiting all through 2022. Well, you found out that those projections,
We're still waiting.
we're still waiting.
Right.
The rates could do a ton of different things. The best thing that you can do is just talk to somebody in the industry. Doesn't mean you have to buy right now, but just be connected to somebody.
100%.
Just be connected to somebody.
Give us a call, email us, call us. We're always happy to talk to you.
Right.
All times.
Right.
Absolutely. It's just a conversation.
Yeah, and I feel like the conversations now are a lot easier than they were all last year.
Yes.
I think, you talk about things normalizing a little bit and people starting to get so, when things drop way low, it's likely to never see that again.
No.
Can't say never,
I
but
tell everybody probably not in our lifetime. I won't say never, but probably not in our lifetime.
it wasn't ever done before.
Right.
So it was pretty unprecedented for something like that. But regardless, we still would love to speak with anybody. Have any questions, just reach out. Whether it's direct messages or whatnot. Our future this year, we're going to look at doing more video.
Yep.
With educational videos, discussing what those programs look like from a visual aspect and so forth.
And guys, if you have an opinion on what's going on in the market, and you want to share that with us, please go ahead and
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, or leave a comment. Especially if you're watching this on YouTube, because we love to discuss this stuff.
Absolutely.
We love to discuss this stuff. And then tell us your opinion, too. Do you think that home prices are going to go up or down in 2023? I have my own predictions, but I want to wait a little bit to see what actually happens.
Right.
Nice. That's all I got, gentlemen.
And with that, we will close it out. Thank you again. Please reach out to us. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.